Hi, this is Ben Ivey, the fulfillment artist, and in this video I'm going to tell you about my 12-month body transformation. So in this video, I'm not going to go into the in-depths of how I lost weight and how to measure calories and things like that. If you want to understand that, watch my 6-month body transformation video that I've done. That explains the calories, the macros, the exercises, pretty much everything. In this one, I just wanted to explain what I did after that 6 months of losing weight, and how I started to do the lean bulking and how my body changed, and basically look at how my body structurally changed on this 12-month journey. So ultimately, after I finished the 6 months, I got really, really lean because I just basically lost a ton of fat. That's basically what happened. Then I decided, okay, well, I want to get stronger and I want to be able to lean bulk, basically, which is where you're getting stronger, but you're not getting fat. And there's lots of people that I see in the gym and you see around that are strong, but they also look kind of fat. And you know who these people are? They're strong, and they're people that tend to go to the gym quite a lot, so they can lift heavy weights, but they kind of look kind of chunky. And I didn't want to go back from being fat chunky to strong chunky. I just wanted to be lean and fit, if that makes sense, because I want to be able to manage my energy better and to be able to move forward. On my calls, I can concentrate and everything like that. So when I was looking into this, the first thing that I wanted to do after I finished a 6-month basically diet was I wanted to eat a ton of food. Right? That's what you want to do. But what Mario said when I was working with him is, he said, the best thing for you to do now is we increase the calories slowly. And this is important because there are loads of people that, what's the best way to describe this? Ping pong. They ping to one way and then they pong back down and then they ping back up. And these people, they get fat 1 minute and then they lose weight and then they get fat and then they lose weight. Now what happens is when you lose weight or you go on a diet, when you stop, you then think, oh, it's fine. And your body wants to start to eat the same amount because you haven't got to the maintenance stage where your body's used to that weight. So what happens is you may get those food cravings, and if you don't control them, you'll then start to put on the weight again. Now, I was really aware of this, so I did not want to do that. So as I started going into this, I took it quite slow, and we started increasing the calories to be able to start lean bulking and eating better food. Now, what I realized throughout this is I have a confession that I was kind of letting myself go after the 6 months, even though because I had space for extra calories. Instead of having like a sweet potato, I'd have a dessert. I was treating myself. So ultimately, the lean bulking didn't go as well because even though I was getting the calories, they didn't really have any nutrients. They weren't really doing anything for me. But that said, I started moving forward and we started increasing the calories more and more until we ended up getting, I think at the end, about 2,000 calories on when I wasn't going to the gym and about 2,800 when I was. So I was packing on the calories much more so when I had a gym day. It was like an extra meal. It was amazing. So as we started moving forward with this, ultimately when you're losing weight, it's about 80% nutrition, 20% training. But when you're putting on weight, it actually switches, and it was about 80% training compared to 20% nutrition. Obviously, you've got to eat the right foods, but it's to the training about breaking down the muscle in order to rebuild it, which is very, very interesting because it was completely different when I was losing the weight. So depending on what you want to do, understand if it's training or understand if it's nutrition. Obviously, both are very important. And it's never exactly that 80-20, but it's just what I found. So as I started moving forward and finished, and I looked at these sort of the 12 months, there was a few things that I realized that had changed in my body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these images up now, and then I'm going to explain how my body's changed and why this was the case. So as you can see by these images on the screen, we can see that obviously the most obvious thing is the changes in fat. So if we look at, when I first started, I definitely had a lot of fat, especially, the back fat, the fat at the front. And we can see that when we look at the 6 month, the fat literally shredded off. And when looking at these images, we can see that obviously in the 6 month stage, I was very, very lean. But what happened is I was basically just losing all the fat, and my body was still out of balance, if that makes sense, because I developed my chest quite a lot. So my chest was very strong, my abs are strong, but I didn't really develop my shoulders or my back. And that's why my shoulders were still kind of forward, even though I was feeling better. So then when you look to the 6 month to the 12 month, the biggest change is actually within the shoulders and the back, and my butt and legs. Unfortunately, I can't show you my butt and legs in these photos, or any photos actually, but let me explain about why this was. So the reason that I was working on my back and my shoulders, and you can see the difference in the photos, how my shoulders have got wider and so did my back, is because I wanted to be able to move back my shoulders from typing and setting down and actually get more in balance. And actually, if you look at the photos, you can see the anterior pelvic tilt changing. And what I mean by that is you can see in the beginning photos, my butt's sticking out a bit, but as I went through this process, my hip flexors got looser, my glutes got stronger, and my shoulders start to move back more and more. So ultimately, when looking into this, we can see that the most important thing for me was getting the balance. And even though you can look good, for example, at the 6 months, I was still in a little bit of pain, but it wasn't until I started rebalancing my body that I started to move forward in a way that it was more balanced, sustainable, and without any pain whatsoever. So now I'm at a stage where I'm not feeling the pain at all compared to what I was feeling previously. So obviously, after looking at those images, we can see that there's definitely been a huge amount of changes. Now, one of the things that I did want to mention is part of this was actually changing body posture, and there were specific exercises that I did to change my posture of my body. I haven't included them in this video, but what I'm going to do is next week, I'm going to release a video that's going to explain the exact exercises that I did to change my basically posture. So the three things were my shoulders were rolled because I spent a lot of time typing and speaking, and texting, things like that. The other thing was I had really weak glutes from sitting all the time, as well as tight hip flexors. So if you're someone that sits a lot, if you're someone that doesn't really exercise, if you've got a little bit of back pain or shoulder pain, definitely watch that video next week. So with that said, I really hope you've enjoyed just watching this 12-month body transformation. It was really, really fascinating for me to do. The exciting thing is I'm now doing a triathlon. So that's going to be quite cool. So I've got a completely I've got a completely new regime. We're exercising much more aerobically. I'm not really going to the gym as much. So I'll see how my body changes and how I adapt and how I feel over the next 4 months. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll speak to you next week with body posture correction.